could not tell you if I loved you the first moment I saw you, or if it was the second, the third, or the fourth. But I remember the first moment I looked at you, walking towards you, and realized that somehow the rest of the world seemed to vanish when I was with you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you thought you were going to be hearing a love story, you are absolutely correct. Except that I will not be talking about the man in my life today, but rather about the love affair of a potential home buyer with your home. Finding the right property or the right home can be an experience like finding the right husband or wife. It can be love at first sight if it is done the right way. That's where home staging, a new tool in the real estate market, comes in. If you are asking yourself now, what is home staging, you are not alone. It is the process of preparing a home for sale, with a particular focus on property presentation and styling. The goal here is to improve a property's appeal by transforming it into a welcoming, attractive, and marketable showcase product. Staging a home for sale involves a number of key things to do, but for today, we will focus on the 3 C's in home staging: clutter-free, clean, and color. Let me all ask you this: how many of us can claim that we have a home that is really clutter-free? I assume not many. People often collect objects and furnishings. Coming home with new items, it is sometimes hard to find the right place for them. Over time, we add more and more stuff to our homes, but tend to forget that the placement and color of these new additions don't always create a pleasing and balanced environment. When we want to sell our house, we need to go through it, room by room. We move items that are very personal, like family photographs, trophies, or collections. Leave space between items on the walls and on the floor to show off the architectural features of the house. Potential buyers actually need to mentally move in when they view a house. They do not want to live with what your family has lived with. Decluttering and depersonalizing is just the first step. Next, we have to make sure the house is clean. Have you ever walked into a house and immediately got put off by the smell of cigarettes? Especially if you are a non-smoker? Or been overwhelmed by the fragrance of overpowering perfume? A sparkling, clean and odor-free house is appealing to buyers. They certainly do not want to be left with your personal smell. So make sure the house not only looks clean, but also smells clean. I would like to share a quote from Robert Brault. "We labor to make a house a home. Then every time we are expecting visitors, we rush to turn it back into a house." Well, when you're selling your home, you have to turn it back into a house. And finally comes the most important tool of home staging: color. Imagine a cloudy, foggy, and rainy day. Now compare it with a clear and sunny day. Which day do you prefer? Can you describe how the emotions are on these days? I'm sure most of us prefer the sunny, colorful days. Vibrant colors make us feel alive. So let us transfer these feelings to our home. Colors have an effect on our emotions, and therefore colors matter. When we are living in our home, we can and should use colors to suit our own personal taste and style. If we want to sell our home, we should find a more neutral color scheme. And here are some tips and tricks to do this effectively. Colors can make a room wider or smaller, higher or lower. We use color to correct any unfavorable architectural proportions or enhance special architecture features. Use the light, painted sky blue, for example, to widen a space. Or use sky blue in order to let the ceiling appear higher. This works because blue is the color of the sky. So painting the ceiling in a very light sky blue, we can raise the ceiling by 10 to 15 centimeters. Or maybe you want to emphasize a treasured piece of wooden furniture. Place it in front of the blue or green wall. The color contrast from the warm wood tones with the cool wall backdrop will make the wood grain more visible. Try it out. You will be amazed by the effect. Home staging is a new tool in the real estate market, and to emphasize my points, let me illustrate this with a story. Two linked houses in a gated area, number 18 and 20, were at the same time on the market. One was staged, furnished, clean and clutter-free. The other one was empty and freshly painted in white. Also clean and everything in good working condition. Guess which one of the two houses sold faster? Number 18, the staged one. But what makes the story really interesting was the situation that two families were interested in the staged property. The one who didn't get it was really disappointed, but did not even consider to buy the one next door, with the same location, view, and neighborhood. Why? They could not feel the same atmosphere, and they could not envision themselves living in it. So we showed them photos of the staged home in the empty house, walking through each room with the examples of the furnished rooms right there in our hands for comparison. It was the same house with the same room layout, but it did not help. Then we tested it further. We rented some furniture, painted some walls in neutral colors, and added some accessories. And you guess what? They bought the staged house number 20 within 1 week. So once again, remember the 3 C's before putting your home on the market. Clutter-free, clean, and color. When showing a home, we only have one chance to make a first impression. Whether that first impression is online or in person. We only have a few seconds to make the buyer stop and take notice. That's why home staging is so important, so that our potential buyer will fall in love with our home